It's all working this end, but nobody's trying to join. It is streaming properly, yes. How the hell can I do that? Wait a minute, I went to Zoom. There were 2 meetings, it said, for today. I remember. Hang on a moment. 2 meetings now. One of them was from 1800 to 2100. One was from 1900 to 20. It's the 1800 to 2100 we want. Right. In progress. Okay. Right. I think the meeting ID is 885 6040 9247. Passcode 424612. Yeah, I'll see if I can email them out to everyone.
Okay.
Right, the phone can stop now. Oh, fucking thing. Can you phone folk and tell them that emails are coming?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm going to have to start the countdown video soon.
Hi Bill, there's an email coming to you with a new code to get into the meeting. It's streaming on YouTube. We've solved the problem, but you just need to use the new details. Okay. Richard is sending you the meeting code and password to get into the meeting. Okay, will it be the link or the password, Richard, that you're sending out?
Of them.
Both. You're sending both? Are you?
Yeah.
You're sending both. So email. Look out for an email. Okay. All right. Bye.
Right, so there's Drip, Tonya, Varian, Simon, and Grace. Is there anybody else? No. Right, that's gone. Okay. So shall I start the count? Better not start the countdown yet. God, they were quick.
You are on YouTube, Richard.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Sorted it. It was a different meeting.
That's all right, but they can all see you on it.
Aha, see what you mean.
That's what I was saying.
Right.
Can I see anybody else, Tonya?
Only Richard when he's talking, and I'm assuming when I talk, I'll pop up.
Right, close your videos. I'm going to start the film.
Yeah, I'm on it.
I can't see me now.
Can you hear me? I can hear you, yes. I just need to let you know there's an email coming to you with a new code to get into the Zoom meeting. Okay. See you in a bit. Bye.
Hello. I may be on or not. We've still got a few minutes. Right. Meeting ID 885 6040 9247 and 424 Well, good evening, everybody. This is Drip Action Theatre Company. I think one of its other names is Seat of the Pants Theatre Company, and we're here. I think we've made it, and welcome. I'll just call up a few words here, and to our new YouTube show, courtesy of everybody's new friend, Zoom. I'm Brennan, Artistic Director of the company, now in its 33rd year. Following on from our successful Zoom Festival show in August, and in the tradition of our December 7 plays, we're performing another batch of plays on a theme, this time one for sorrow, two for joy, ... again live on YouTube. We have 7 short plays for you with a total running time of about 80 minutes. To set us on our way, we present our first play, which is by Simon Brett. Simon has written many plays for Drip Action over the years, and tonight's offering is a new one, hot off the press. Simon himself performs, and the piece is called Mission Control.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Magpie Minor. I think you probably know why.
Yes, I
You
do.
do know the mission statement for Magpie Prognostication Services, don't you?
Yes, sir, of course.
Could you remind me of it, Magpie Minor? Just to check that your memory hasn't played any tricks on you?
Yes, of course, Major Magpie. It is the mission of all serving magpies to provide prognostications for credulous humans according to the traditions of the Magpie Prognostication Services, appearing in appropriate numbers to denote the following future events: 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told.
Thank you. And there's nothing in that protocol you don't understand.
No, sir. No.
Then could you perhaps explain to me why, on a recent mission to the funeral of Lord Rayburn, you appeared on the road in front of the hearse, accompanied by another magpie?
Ah, well, you see, sir, that was Magpie Keith.
And what does his identity have to do with it?
Well, he's my friend, and I met him in the air that morning, and he was going off to another funeral, and I thought it'd be rather jolly if he went to mine together. Jolly?
You mean you thought it would inspire joy?
Yes, Major Magpie.
Whereas your mission was to land on the road in front of the hearse of Lord Rayburn on your own to inspire sorrow.
Oh, yes, Major Magpie.
I don't think you realise how important that funeral was to us, Magpie Minor. Lord Rayburn was a major donor to the fundraising of Magpie Prognostication Services, contributing more than £1 million last year alone. I had hoped that his widow, Lady Rayburn, who is, I believe, American, might continue his generosity with another $1 million from his estate. Well, that's not going to happen, is it? If one of our operatives encouraged everyone at Lord Rayburn's funeral to be joyful.
No, possibly not, sir.
This is not the only complaint I've had about your behaviour, Magpie Minor.
Oh, dear.
Why did you turn up to the wedding of Felicity Masters to Gregory Dunholm on your own? And perch on the church porch as the bride came up the path from her wedding car?
Well.
Why?
Well, Magpie Keith was off doing another funeral.
You don't always have to work with Magpie Keith. There are plenty of other magpies in the sky.
Yes, but he's my mate.
For the time being, we will gloss over the business of the 2 pregnant sisters.
Oh, thank you.
Though the expense they went to redecorating their nurseries in blue and pink respectively did not do a lot for the image of Magpie Prognostication Services, did it?
No, I'm sorry, sir.
Then we come on to the Olympics.
Oh, dear.
The English women's 4x400 meters relay team were hot favourites to win the gold medal in the final.
Yes.
And you were under strict instructions to appear in the stadium just before the race started with 5 other magpies.
Mm.
So why, in the name of bird's nest soup, did you turn up with 4?
Magpie Keith had a tummy bug.
Then you should have found another magpie. The English team were devastated when the Yanks got the gold.
Yes, it was unfortunate.
Unfortunate. It was a disaster, Magpie Minor. Only a silver medal. That put back British athletics by at least a decade.
I'm sorry, sir.
I should think you bloody are. And then we come on to your latest cock-up, don't we?
I suppose we do.
What on earth made you think that binding up the beaks of yourself and 6 other magpies was going to achieve?
Well, it would stop any of them from telling the secret that was never to be told, wouldn't it?
I've had enough of this, Magpie Minor.
Oh.
I've been very tolerant of you up to now, but your conduct has been so appalling that you can no longer work for...
But sir,
Good afternoon, Major Magpie. Lady Rayburn, what a great honor it is to see you. And may I once again express my condolences for the loss of your husband, a fine man who, oh, don't waste your breath. I loathed the fat old bastard. What? So did everyone, which was why I was so grateful to you for sending me 2 magpies at the funeral. That just added to the communal joy of the occasion. Oh.
That's a go.
And then the one you sent to my niece Felicity Masters' wedding, so thoughtful. I knew that Gregory Dunholm was only after her money. Thanks to your magpie, she stopped the proceedings before the ceremony started. We aim to please.
Oh, that's rich.
And then, how clever of you to mispredict the sex of my 2 daughter-in-law's babies. Both my sons have always been very anti-gender stereotyping, but their wives overruled them in the matter of decoration. Thanks to your operatives, though, both the nurseries, the pink and the blue one, have now been painted over in gender-neutral white. Much better. Well, and then we come on to the Olympics.
Oh dear.
How did your operative find out that one of my granddaughters from my first marriage was representing the United States in the 4x400 meters relay?
Oh boy!
I can't thank you and your brilliant team enough, Major Magpie. And as an expression of my gratitude from the old bastard's estate, here's a check for £10 million. 10 million?
Yes!
Thank you so much, Major Magpie. Keep up the good work. Magpie Minor, I don't know what to say.
Thank you would do, or I'm sorry. Huh?
Thank you. I'm sorry. And Magpie Minor, congratulations.
I'll only do my duty, sir.
I'm totally bowled over by what you've achieved. So how did you come to work all of that out, Magpie Minor?
Oh, I'm afraid I can't tell you that, sir.
Why ever not?
Because you see, it's a secret, never to be told.
Thank you, Simon. We leave you cackling, magpie-wise. And now we move on to a play by Tonya James, who's written a lot for us and acted a great deal for us. And her play is called Henry VII.
So today is the big day, marriage number 7. Now, I know you're thinking, Henrietta, you don't look old enough. Well, that's the only benefit of 6 previous marriages. Settlements. Those have enabled me to look the way I do, live the way I live, be the person I've become, and finally find the love of my life. I don't want you to get me wrong. I married for love each and every time. The first time we were too young. I was married 2 days after my 18th birthday. everyone tried to make sure that we were sure, but at 18, you know everything, don't you? I mean, how could they possibly know what it felt like to be young and in love? I can still hear my grandmother, God rest her soul, saying, "Wait, Henry, wait till you find the one, that one person who will do anything to be your everything." And looking at my granddad, asleep on the sofa, mouth open, dribbling, flies undone, belt unbuckled, and thinking, really, really? Is that what you did? Is that what that looks like? It was only when she lay weak and frail, a shadow of the woman who had held my tiny hand and kissed my fevered brow, had whispered how much I was loved and cherished and had loved me unconditionally, that I understood what she meant. I watched my granddad tenderly hold her tiny hand, kiss her fevered brow, whisper how much she was loved and cherished and who loved her unconditionally until she left him. I watched him crumble when she took her last breath. I watched the tears roll down his cheek and fall onto the face he loved as his shoulders shook with grief. He didn't know I was there, that I had seen him, and I never told him. I never told him that at that moment, the moment he let out a tortured scream, he showed me what true love was. That was a week after my 20th birthday, 5 days after my second wedding anniversary, the day I filed for divorce. So, a couple of years later, aged 22 and a half, because the half was still really important at that age, I was divorced, living in a tiny flat above a cafe. I had a job in the cafe underneath, and I worked part-time in my local pub. It was here I ran headlong into marriage number 2. I pretended I hadn't noticed, pretended my heart didn't flutter, my chest didn't pound, my legs weren't weak. I laughed too much and stood too close. After 6 months, we were married. 6 months later, separated, then divorced. It was a glorious, passionate, all-consuming whirlwind romance. The flame burns brightest just before it goes out, isn't that what they say? It's hard to say what went wrong. I just woke up one morning, rolled over, looked at them and thought, that's it. It's over. I'm done. The flame had died just as quickly as it had begun. My brother says it takes less time to do something right than to explain why it went wrong, so I moved on. I reached my quarter of a century, twice married and twice divorced. Thankfully, no children. My childhood had been amazing. Supportive parents, supported by grandparents who had love and respect for themselves and for me and my siblings, and look at me. I mean, can you imagine what small minds and bodies would have been damaged had they been caught up in my disastrous affairs? By the time I married again, I was 30. Jackie Kennedy said the first time you marry for love, the second for money, and the third for companionship. I had been in love each time, different kind of love, granted, but in love nevertheless. 3 really was the magic number. We were happy. We didn't feel the need to fill contented silence with annoying conversation. We exchanged looks instead of words. We were complete. We just didn't need anyone else. I can't explain to you how it feels when you find parts of yourself in someone else. Through my darkest hours, I've reminded myself of that. The knock on the door, the faces of the police officers swimming in front of me, the jumbled words that they spoke, the sucker punch in my guts, and the loss. The journey to the hospital as the lights flashed by the window, the echo of my feet as I walked through the wards, tenderly holding your hand, kissing your fevered brow, telling you how much you were loved and cherished, crumbling as you took your last breath, and hearing my own tortured screams. And grief is the price we pay for having loved. It's a high price, it's a painful price, but it's one worth paying. I spent time rebuilding my life with the remains of ours. I've moved into a new house. I started a new job. I felt guilty. I felt lost. I felt betrayed. I went through the motions of living without feeling alive. And I found myself married for the 4th time. I don't remember how it happened. I remember spending a lot of time together. I remember sex. I remember moving in together. I remember cooking dinner, washing up, housework, going to bed, waking up, holidays, birthdays, and Christmas. I don't remember falling in love, although, well, I guess I must have been. I don't remember courtship. I don't remember a proposal. I do remember the voices in my head screaming at me not to go through with it as I got ready. I remember crying when I said my vows. I don't remember the reception. I do remember the abuse that followed. Not the physical abuse, that's far too obvious. The mental abuse, psychological abuse. Clever, always one step ahead. In public, gregarious and fun. In private, undermining as they tell you how worthless you are with dead, angry eyes. It's easy to believe what a wretched person you are if you're told it often enough. Everyone soon grows tired of your constant complaints about being mistreated, but because they can't see the physical scars. They can't see the damage. So we carry on as though everything's fine, playing happy families when in reality nothing could have been further from the truth. I stopped confiding in people who were bored of my constant complaints. I felt alone again, isolated, abandoned, betrayed. And soon enough, I was alone again. The thud of the divorce papers on the mat, divorce number 3. They were my wake-up call. I looked in the mirror and I realised I didn't see me. I saw someone else. The person I needed to be. I sold up, moved to Turkey, opened a bar, enjoyed the sun, the sea, and the sex that came with it. I was a big fish in a small pond, and I was loving it. Marriage number 5 came and went in a blur. This one much younger than me. Too young to marry, much like me at 18. And I didn't have the stamina to keep up. You know, it's easy to maintain a facade for a while, but age soon catches up and has no qualms in showing the youth that you've surrounded yourself with that you're a fake, a phony, a lie. We parted on good terms. I gave the same advice that I had been given. Wait. Wait for that one person. The one person that will do anything to be your everything. We held hands and I kissed that young brow as we said goodbye. We still keep in touch. And I am pleased to say my young love has found their true love, that one person. And I couldn't be happier for them. What to say about marriage number 6? It was during this relationship I realised I had spent my whole life trying to be something, someone I wasn't. It took a strong person to help me realise, a strong woman. She understood that I had been fighting against myself my whole life, trying to fit in with the body I had been given rather than accept the person that lived inside. She helped me understand that Henry with a Y had spent his life looking for Henry with an I. She helped me with my hair, my makeup, my clothes. She helped me walk the walk and talk the talk. When I felt broken, she held my hand. She kissed my fevered brow and told me I was loved and cherished. She helped me through my transition from why to I. Her face was next to mine when I looked in the mirror after my last surgery was complete, and when my soul looked back at me and said, "Oh, there you are. Been looking for you." And he, the one I'm going to marry in an hour's time, he is the one who accepts my past, the journey that I've been on, the history that makes me the person that I am, the person he loves, the person whose arms feel more like home than any house ever did. So today is the big day. With my ex-wife by my side, I get to marry the man of my dreams. On either side, I will have someone holding my hand, kissing my brow, and letting me know I am loved and cherished. For that, I will always be grateful. And for my granddad, who taught me that a person's actions will teach you everything you need to know. Always for him.
Thank you, Tonya. That was lovely. Just getting comfortable here, watching the show. And now we have a play by Gill Medway, who's written lots of short plays for us, of the 7 plays. For reasons that will become obvious, she can't perform it herself. In fact, it'll be performed by Richard Tyrrell, and it's called Oxford English Destiny.
Oh, that's better. So, the past is another country. Isn't that what they say? But I must have kept hold of my passport, because moments in days long ago come back to me as sharp and as clear as if they happened yesterday. It's 1946, a raw Saturday afternoon in winter. The 3 boys are sitting huddled together in my parents' attic. Terry, Ron, and me. It's our secret meeting place, our chilly haven, with entry by password only. We're sitting on an old flock mattress, hugging our 9-year-old knees. It's so cold that you could see your breath. We used to pretend we were smoking like proper grown-ups. And Terry's voice comes to me down the years. When I was little, he says, you know, lots younger than now, me and my dad used to play this funny old game. Not football then, says Ron. I think I'd agree. I know Terry's dad. He's a big, round, comfortable fort of a bloke. More at home in an armchair than on the football pitch. Ron was always chewing bubblegum, the pink sort. What sort of game then? he asks. He calls it Dictionary Destiny, says Terry. He's dead serious. Bugger off. No, straight up. How is that then? Shan't tell you now. Going home for tea. Oh, come on. We want to know now. All right. But you're not to laugh. We cross our hearts and hope to die. So Terry explains. You get this dictionary, see, a big one, not some feeble schoolbook one with baby words in it, a grown up with proper one with long words, see? Then you open it any way you like, close your eyes and point to a word. My chilblains are itching and I rub one foot against my bare leg. Ron and I make scornful noises. And that's your destiny, Terry says. That word tells you what's going to happen in your life. Might be today, might be tomorrow, maybe when you're 90. Ron insists he's never going to be 90. Not in a million trillion years. He goes on blowing gum bubbles and bursting them across his face. But I find that I'm strangely interested. Does it work then, this game? My dad said it worked for him. He tried it just before he met my mum at a dance. He got the word splendour. And he said, when he saw her across the room that night, that's just how she looked. Splendid. Ron swallows his gum and looks a bit worried. And then, when he was called up, he tried again. He got rifle. Don't think he actually shot anyone though. It seems like an adventure to deal so boldly with destiny, and all within the ranges of a boring old dictionary. What did you get then, Terry, my old lad? I asked. You said you tried it. Terry looks uncomfortable. Yeah, but it didn't make sense. Why not? What was it? But now, in my mind's eye, Terry is standing at the top of the attic ladder. He glances back at Ron and me. Downstairs, he says. And I never knew if that was the word or just a statement of intent. Time moves on. Now I remember 1956. My student digs are at the top of the house, a climb of precisely 42 steps. I can see it now. A dispirited little dwelling with a single gas ring, a sagging armchair and a shabby roll-top desk, totally piled high with books and papers. Boiled cabbage smells drift up the stairway and through my open door. I'm revising for my freshman exams. All thoughts of Ron and Terry have vanished with my childhood. And then a particular book slides from the desk to the floor and my memory suddenly rewinds. The Oxford English Dictionary. The game. Dictionary Destiny. Didn't someone tell me once? I open it at random. My finger plunges down the page. Success or failure, triumph or ignominy. The word is downstairs. I run to the window. The street's empty. But I career down all 42 steps and hurtle out into the warm spring evening. This liquid song of a blackbird fills the air. A girl turns the corner of the street and walks towards me, tottering on heels far too high. Her student scarf, though, tells me that she belongs to my college. Excuse me, I call. How is the revision going? Frightful, she replies. And her laugh is the warmest sound in the world. She is Deborah. She will be my first girlfriend, my only love. Sometimes it works, sometimes not. Our lives, the sum of trivia, of triumph and disaster, of sloth and boredom, of fiendish enemy, of energy, of love and loss. The dictionary stays on my shelf, its pages yellowing with the passing of the years, its words waiting to give me messages I do not often understand. On the day of my mother's funeral, I turn up kettle. It's not until afterwards, when Auntie Phyllis says, well, we're all glad that's over. Shall I put the kettle on? That I remember. When my son and his wife break the news of his job opportunity in America, my finger finds the word distance. Enough said. But I also discover the random element. Nucleonic, doctrinaire, mystagogue, graftolite. None of these have helped me at any point. They merely cloud the issue and cause me to wonder whether the game is still worth playing. But part of me knows it is, and it always will be. And here we are now. They've given me a ground floor room. The bed's comfortable enough, and there's a large bay window overlooking the garden. I can sit here in my rise and recline armchair and watch the changing seasons. We do have a lift, of course, says Matron with her brittle smile. But I think your father might prefer to be downstairs. It's so much handier for the dining room. My daughter nods and pats my hand. When you're over 75, I've discovered, people pat your hand a lot. They do it for reassurance, convincing themselves that everything's for the best. And, of course, it is. I like it here, walking with dinosaurs. The Oxford English Dictionary sits bravely on my shelf, daring me to take it down and play the game once more for old time's sake. It's getting dark. My little lamp is glowing on the table. I press the button on my chair, but nothing's happening, so I can't get up. The journey to the bookshelves feels impossibly far. I feel my eyelids drooping. Suddenly, there he is, standing just outside the circle of the lamplight, his swept-back haircut and freckled nose are every bit as I remember. His dirty grey socks sagged down below his scabby knees. Hello, Terry. He turns and gives me his familiar lopsided grin. We're back in the attic at the top of the stairs with my parents' house. My toes are itching again and burn with the chilblains. When I was little, says Terry, you know, much younger than I am now, me and my dad used to play this funny old little game. I know. Dictionary Destiny. I've played it all my life. Mad bugger, he says. Never bothered with it much myself. The attic room, it swims out of focus as as though we're both underwater. Somewhere over on the horizon, a lamp floats. What was the word, Terry? What was the word that you and your dad found? The one you didn't understand? He walks off into the distance, his old school plimsoll soundless as though he's moving on air. And then he turns and he lifts one hand in farewell and he mouths one word. But I cannot catch it. But I know it's something final. Something momentous.
Thank you, Richard. And of course, thank you, Gill. We now move on to the final play in this half, where we will have a short interval, and you can view more of the stills from our past 33 years. This play is written by our very proud artistic director and indeed performed by him. His name, in case you aren't aware, is Bill Brennan, and this little offering is called Barbecue.
Squawk! Squawk! Or to translate, hello, I'm not sure I should be here, really, being a cicitine, a parrot rather than a corvid. Corvids, you know, crows, ravens, magpies, one like pinching bright objects like gold coins. Corvids, not to be confused with, well, yes, we know, hurrying on. Though psittacosis, for which we get blamed, is not too popular either, in fact. Why didn't you just leave us in the jungle? Yes, I'm a parrot, as you can see. I was going to be called Kane, as in Citizen Kane, but that might have been a bit obscure, if not groan-worthy. Though, having been taken from the jungly trees, what adventures I've had. This is why I'm here, in fact, to talk about my present owner, John. Quite tall for a man with one leg. His mates on board the Hispaniola called him Barbecue. Not sure why. He never cooked outside with a stripy apron. Steaks and sausages burnt outside, raw inside. No, he'd be in the galley with young Hawkins. Jim Hawkins, as they used to call him. Nice lad, a bit impressionable. Oh, I can tell you a few tales of the Spanish Main. There's more to my repertoire than pieces of 8, you know. And I don't have to squawk necessarily. You'll be relieved to hear. I'll get to my age, over 200 years, and still no sign of a pension or free TV license. The name is Flint, Captain Flint, to be correct, named after my previous owner. He'd have to pillage, he did, that boy, a bit thick when he was young. They called him the pillage idiot. Thank you. But with John here, on whose shoulder I'm currently sitting, steady boss, steady, look at me while I'm talking to you. I had great adventures, and what characters. Black dog, a bit snappy, hated fireworks, died of rabies. Billy Bones, fat as a pig, got the black spot. That was on his roses. He threw up gardening. He threw up gardening and turned to piracy. Blind Pew, so called because he could never find his deodorant. Israel Hands, wanted to go into showbiz or the clothing business. Handy with a needle and thread. As he stitched away on a sale, he'd regale us with, "You need hands." And Ben Gunn, daft as a brush and looked like one. But I expect you know the story. Treasure found and all that. My master John, Long John to give him his proper sobriquet, did pinch a few doubloons, half guineas and mois d'ors. We went back to the Barbary Coast and, with all the other barbers, and set up a gentleman's hairdressers. Ears and nostrils extra. Plenty of fresh millet for me, and a nice new mirror, full length. So I'm looking forward to 100 years of screeching. A happy parrot, a citizen, untroubled, I hope, by any nasty corvid or you. I don't know what I'm about. Just a bit of avian flu, I expect. Where's my mask? This is a dead parrot.
Thank you, Bill, for Barbecue. We're going to leave you all now to put the kettle on, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, glass of wine. I know what I'd be doing. If we come back in 5 minutes, you can watch another few stills of our last 33 years and enjoy the 3 plays we have left for Act 2. Look forward to seeing you after the interval. Thank you.
Well, I think you had the full whack there. 33 years. We do hope you're enjoying our virtual 7 so far, and as Tonya said, 3 more plays to come in the second half. Before that, you may remember, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to remind you about what Drip Action actually does. Over the last 33 years, for heaven's sake, we have brought you a wonderfully eclectic mix of plays. You'll have seen the slides and remember lots of them, I hope. Usually lesser known, some brand new, but all interesting and challenging. Dedicated and loyal actors have risen to the challenge of some of the venues we have used: boats, barns, pubs, and of course our home in the atmospheric to be newly refurbished Victoria Institute in Arundel. Our famous theatre trail during the Arundel Festival each August has seen more than 100 new one-act plays performed in kitchens and gardens, restaurants, and other unlikely venues over the past 20 years. It is rightly considered a highlight of the annual festival. This year, of course, it couldn't have been more different. We had to think laterally about how we could go on presenting something as close as possible to a live theatre trail, and that's what led us to our festival Zoom show. Now, in the tradition of our December 7 shows, we're performing another Zoom performance. We are incredibly proud of all that Drip Action has achieved and very grateful to our loyal audience, many of whom are watching right now. And remember, if you know of anyone who can't see it tonight, it'll be up on YouTube from tomorrow onwards, and indeed from after we finish. But if you're new to our work, welcome. Rattling box here. With no box office income for this year, will you please help us and make a donation? Not just for tonight's terrific performances, but to support those that are yet to come. It's easily done. Just see the GoFundMe link on our website, www.dripaction.co.uk, where you will see that we're well on our way to our target of £1,000. Be grateful to hit it in the next few days. Or you should see a link at the bottom of your YouTube screen. Thank you for your support and enthusiasm. We look forward to seeing you in a non-virtual world as soon as we can. Get hold of those vaccines. Now back to some drama, this time on film. Mark Beecham performs a play written by Paul Ward, and it's called Joy.
Thank you, Reverend. It seems a funny thing to say that the minister who's been leading our service so far didn't have the pleasure of knowing joy. I'm sure he did and does, of the kind that's spelt with a small j, but he didn't know our joy. And since her husband Jack is no longer with us, God rest his soul, it falls to me as her only surviving relative and someone who has known her all her life to say a few words about that life. Now, looking around, I think everyone here will have known her only in the second half of a life lived in 2 quite distinct and different parts. The Joy that is, who was devoted to all manner of good works and public service, helping to run the Women's Institute, chairing the parish council, being a tireless governor of the local primary school, and so on. And she was so good with all manner of different sorts of people. Now, I don't want to stand here and tell you things which you already know, so I'm going to fill in some of the details of her earlier life, which may go some way towards explaining the joy we knew in later years. She was called Joy because her mother had grown up a Quaker. And it used to be a habit among some Quakers to call their children after virtues like faith, hope and charity, or abstract qualities like peace, or in this case, joy. Not that there was anything abstract or ethereal about the joy we see lying before us today. She was, as all who remember her will know, something of a force to be reckoned with. But that is to leap ahead too quickly. Now, In light of things which must be referred to later if a rounded picture is to be given, I've decided that it's best to say something about Joy's early home life, which, though not in the least neglectful where material needs were concerned, was not an entirely happy one, because her parents were, well, shall we just say, not very well matched. Her father, who, like her later husband, was also called Jack, lived up to his name, or something of a lad, that is, whilst her mother, being of a fairly strict religious persuasion, did not share his taste for, well, what shall we call them, the more earthly pleasures that life offered. Now, looked at from the outside, you might wonder how they came to be married at all. The truth is that Joy's mother had a kind of missionary zeal for dealing with those evils. She saw them that lay on her doorstep, and in an attempt to cure Jack of his taste for drink and betting on the horses, the missionary somehow ended up in the missionary position, and that was the beginning of Joy with a capital J, and probably, for him, with a small j too. Well, they married hastily because it was the respectable thing to do, but it was certainly not a match made in heaven. Now, Jack got a job as a travelling salesman, and I'm sure he found various pleasures everywhere from Bolton to Skegness, which was the area he covered, leaving the bringing up of his daughter largely to his wife, a task which she undertook with scrupulous intensity. Now, he came home at weekends, of course, and he never failed to provide for the family, but the weekend visits were never entirely successful. He wanted his little girl to have a little bit of fun, and what he considered to be fun was usually off limits as far as his wife was concerned. So, our Joy grew up with the impression that pleasure might be sinful, which I think may go some way to explaining certain later developments. Now, I don't mean to paint an unflattering picture of Joy's mother. She was a sincere, devout and virtuous woman, but, well, a little on the strict puritanical side, and of course her view on life rubbed off on the little girl who became our Joy, at least for a time. Now, at school, she was a quiet, serious sort of child, always working hard and never in any kind of trouble, but she didn't make a lot of friends there. Well, you know what a lot of teenage girls can be like, bragging about conquests they've never actually made and gossiping about each other behind each other's backs. Joy was never into all that, so by and large she got left out and concentrated her studies, at which I have to say she was very successful. Now, I suppose it was in the sixth form when things began to change a bit. She's always had a leaning towards the arts side, so she chose an English, French and drama for her A-levels. Well, to cut a long story short, by the time she'd read Anthony and Cleopatra and Madame Bovary, she began to see that perhaps there were things which her upbringing hadn't encouraged her to think about. And then acting in a sixth form production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof really put the tin lid on it. Now, she began to see a world in which it wasn't patience and virtue and all the things she'd been brought up to believe in that made the world go round. It was lust and power and trickery. And she started longing to get away from home and start finding out for herself what she's been missing. Which at university she did with a vengeance. Now, there's no need to start looking worried, Vicar. I don't know everything she got up to during those years, and even if I did, it probably wouldn't be right to go into too much detail here in the chapel. Suffice to say that the shy little girl of earlier years became a thoroughly experienced woman of the world, if you know what I mean. Now, I've thought long and hard about including this next episode, which no one here will have known about. Even her husband didn't. But I've decided to include it in the interest of giving a rounded picture of an extraordinarily various life. In her final years at university, she had a bit of a fling with a visiting lecturer from Sweden. His name was Sven, and he convinced her that she could have a future as a star of the silver screen. She did in fact make a number of films, but all of them were shot in Sweden, and none of them were granted certificates over here. Besides, she didn't use her own name, but you could say that during that interlude that Sven brought joy to thousands. Well, that all stopped when she was about 25. I don't know all the details, of course, but I gather there was some unpleasantness in court when Sven was convicted. Now, Joy's next move was a surprise, not to say a shock to everyone who knew her then. It may have had something to do with her mother's death, I suppose, yeah. She'd always find it a trial keeping her liberated lifestyle secret, but when her mother actually died, she seemed to turn her back on the hedonism of the last 7 years or so. Perhaps she suddenly felt guilty about rebelling against everything her mother had taught her to believe. Having said that, it was still a shock when she announced that she was applying to be a nun. She'd played one in her film years in a little piece entitled Getting Out of the Habit, as far as I can recall. But being one, well, that was a different matter altogether. It didn't last, of course. She said that she'd made a mistake and it wasn't right for her. But I rather think she was encouraged to leave here. Something to do with a friar from the neighbouring monastery, as I heard it. Well, to go on, once she'd kicked the habit, as you might say, she was just coming up to her 30th birthday and beginning to think about settling down and having a more normal, conventional life. It was then that she met Jack. She only told him edited versions of her past life, and he accepted her for what she appeared to be, a bright, clever, pretty woman who just wanted all the normal things in life. And so they were married and became the couple that most of you will have known. Respectable, happy pillars of the local community until Jack died 10 years ago. They didn't have any children. I think there may have been a bit of irreparable damage during the film years, but they found their fulfilment in the selfless service of others. Jack's death affected her badly. True to form, during these last 10 years, her life took one more surprising turn. To all intents and purposes, she lived quietly as a widow. But it was she, under the pen name of Madame Sozostritz, she became the agony aunt of one of our best-loved daily newspapers, dishing out wise advice on all manner of exotic problems. Yeah. I'm sure a film experience in the film business came in very useful at times. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, as we now send her on to the next stage of life's adventure, let us reflect on what the Bible teaches. There will be more joy in heaven over one sinner that repents than, oh, well, you know the rest. So, back to you, Vicar. Where is the vicar? When did he leave? Vicar?
Credits and everything. Thank you, Mark. Lovely performance, and thank you, Paul Ward. And I hope you're looking in. I'm sure you are. And all the best. And now another performance close up. This is by Stuart Smithers, again on film, no expense spared. And his play is called, well, you remember Stuart, he's written so much for us, you'll have seen him on the slides. I may be waiting for a moment while Richard gets the reels onto the projector. So Stuart is now appearing in his play. It's called I'm Not Superstitious. Yes, I'm ready to, Richard, if you'd like to give it a go.
I've no time for superstitions. Load of rubbish, you ask me. Touch wood. No, but they're everywhere nowadays, aren't they? Superstitions. And you noticed you can't hardly walk down the street anymore, and God forbid you should step on the pavement cracks. I mean, what's all that about anyway? Mind you, most of the paving slabs have been ripped up round my way. Thank God for asphalt, I say. Asphalt's fine. You know where you stand with asphalt. Except in the summer when it turns to molten bitumen, of course. But it's still better than those bloody cracks, apparently. Well, if you believe in that sort of thing, which obviously I don't. Of course not. No, never have done. And what's all this business about ladders? It's a minefield. Who in his right mind walks under a ladder anyway? That's not superstition. No, that's just common sense. Unless you're Laurel and Hardy, I suppose, in which case it's part of your job description. No, but seriously, where do we get off on all these weird old wives' tales? Why are they still a thing in this good old century 21? Well, I have a theory. Of course you have, I hear you say. It's just a conspiracy, right? Well, hold on a minute. Let me just finish. Grant me the courtesy, yeah? Okay, then. Now, this theory of mine is based on a lifetime's meticulous observation. It's not just something I dreamt up after my third gin and tonic. Actually, I'm teetotal, me, always have been. Well, you have to be on your guard if you are to avoid the pitfalls in this hostile environment, because mark my words, that's exactly what it is. Hostile. Like your man said, life is nasty, brutish, and short. But I digress. I expect you'd like to know a little more about my theory, wouldn't you? Well, don't all shout at once. The way I see it, we're all in the same boat, which is not necessarily a good thing, especially if the chap in the berth next to yours is called Jonah. Well, apparently, so I'm told. And then there are all these other maritime taboos, like no bananas or women on board, which personally I've always thought was a bit harsh on bananas. And no whistling on deck, and no starting a voyage on a Friday. I mean, it's ridiculous. Totally bananas. But the thing is, you see, you never know. And that's the crux of the matter, because you never really do know. So it's hardly surprising we're all scanning the ship's manifest to see who's listed under J. Am I right? Of course I am. Now, this theory of mine, I call it the uncertainty principle, because all I'm really certain of is that I'm not certain, that is, of anything, really. So you have to develop coping mechanisms. Take insurance, for instance. It's a comforting word, isn't it, insurance? Like the safety net beneath the trapeze, and you're the death-defying act. But the trouble with insurance and safety nets is the exclusion clauses, the holes in the net. So insurance, bit of a dead end, really. You pays your premiums because you have no choice. Well, except for religion, I suppose. Well, that's not without its problems. I mean, there are so many of them, aren't there? Religions, so many different versions of the absolute indivisible truth. What if you opt for the wrong one? It's a lottery. So really, what it all comes down to in the end is chance. And in the land of chance, superstition is king. Just follow a few simple rules and everything will be fine. No matter those rules may seem arbitrary or bizarre, ours not to reason why, ours but to do or... Well, you catch my drift, because we are up against dark forces here. Take me, for instance. Now, granted, I'm not blessed with the sunniest of dispositions, but this morning I definitely got out of the bed on the wrong side. I tripped over the dog, sprained my ankle, ended up in a heap on the floor. All of which rather begs the question, which is the right side? Well, according to ancient philosophers, the right side is always the right side, because right is positive and left is not. Although, speaking for myself, I think it all depends on which side of the bed the dog is sleeping. Well, that's another matter. Anyway, When the pain in my ankle had subsided, I got to my feet, hobbled over to the window, pulled the blinds. And what should I see but one of those bloody magpies, goose-stepping across the patio like he owns the place. Well, naturally, I look round for his mates, but just my luck he's on his Todd. Well, my cue to inquire about his health or some such tosh. Well, I'll not demean myself. So I open the window and I tell him to clear off and don't come back. Well, then I make my way downstairs to the kitchen for breakfast. I'm halfway down the stairs when I see the cat coming up. Blodwyn, her name is, glossy jet black fur. I step aside to let her pass, but when I resume my descent, my good foot slips on a dead mouse Blodwyn has deposited on the stair for my approval. And once again, I find myself in a heap on the floor, this time at the bottom of the stairs. Well, as I say, I'm not superstitious, but there comes a time when you have to admit defeat, go with the flow. The gods, whoever they may be, demand appeasement. Their precise requirements are unknown, hence the uncertainty principle and the growth in the number of superstitions. Now, in the nature of things, many of these superstitions will be ineffective, so I have decided, just to be on the safe side, to abide with them all, every last one of them. Well, you can't be too careful, can you? So the next time I see a solitary magpie, I will inquire politely as to its health and the welfare of its family. Because, you see, I'm not one for sorrow, me, not any more. No, no, all that is a thing of the past. From now on, my faithful dog, Dylan, and I are two for joy, or survival at any rate.
Sorry for that. I was muted for a moment. So many little icons to look at, but I was just saying thank you, Stuart. That was a cracker. And, you can't fault him with a Welsh accent. Always good. And now I think we move on to our last play, which is by David Stevens. And if our team are ready to go, it's called The Rule of 7.
Magpies of the 7 orders, I command you to gather at this place. I cast my circle of power and call upon the 4 elements for protection. Magpies descend and transform! Silence! Brethren of the sacred, secret, and solemn society of the 7 ornithic orders, enter my circle. Magpies, take on human form as you enter my circle. Oh, God. Magpies, you have shown great bravery in undertaking such perilous journeys to be with us here at this place.
Oh, that wind was a killer.
Well, I
wasn't it,
nearly didn't
Wendy?
make it.
Darling,
I
had to
David,
wait
we
for
went
the
like that in
baby.
our age, were we, Norman?
Silence, brethren! Brethren of the 7 orders must not utter their names once inside my circle. Oh, look, will you please stop doing that? It's very off-putting. This is a sacred, secret, and solemn ceremony, not a carry-on film. Always the same ones, isn't it, huh? Always. No, don't laugh. No one else is laughing, are they? I'm watching you. Right. Oh, God. Now you've made me lose my place. Yes. Magpies, brethren of the sacred, secret, and solemn society of the 7 ornithic orders, we have been summoned to this place by our most secret masters, who call upon us to use our ancient and solemn wisdom to rid the world of terror and dread, and to save mankind for all eternity.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I
that's
like that.
good. Yeah, I agree. No, I think it's
Do
brilliant. Yeah.
our masters order us to put an end to war and use our mighty powers to make the world live in harmony forevermore?
Oh, yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
No, not exactly, no.
But have our masters instructed us to wipe out poverty, to give every child a home, and to use the ancient magic of the stars to bring balance to the human race?
It's a good guess, but no, not on this occasion.
Oh, no. It's global warming again, isn't it? I knew it.
Well, I'm bored of global warming.
no,
Just give it a rest.
Silence, my
Something
brethren!
different.
The solemn task our sacred and secret masters command for us and our awesome powers is to bring down the COVID-19 infection rate.
The virus?
Virus? Is that it? All the sacred and secret solemn powers of the 7 ornithic orders? And you want us to sort out a bleeding virus? Are you having a laugh?
Yeah, come on. Be serious.
Oh, no. We can't start being serious, because then we'd be the serious sacred, secret, and solemn society of the 7 ornithic orders. That would be ridiculous. We'd have to shorten it to
Yeah.
Silence! Our secret masters have instructed us to bring forth a solution! A solution and some graphs. Our masters love graphs, and we must complete our task before the start of the great ritual Saturday dance.
Ah, he means Strictly. We'll be finished in time for Strictly.
Oh, that's good. I love Strictly. It's my favourite programme.
I summon you by secret number to come forth and present your wisdom in this matter. Number 1, I summon you first. Oh dear, number 1. Do we really have to go through this every time we transform?
Well, of course you do. She is number 1 for sorrow, remember?
Oh, yes, I am well aware of our ancient naming conventions. Thank you very much. Less of the smart comments, if you please. Oh, what's the matter this time, number 1?
There's nothing we can do. COVID's never going to go away. We're going to be ill forever. And all of us will die with swollen toes and no sense of smell. We're probably all contracting it right now.
That is not possible. For see, I have drawn the circle of power, and it shall protect us.
What? This little line on the floor? This pathetic line you've drawn on the floor? That's going to stop a deadly virus.
Well, yes, of course it will.
Yeah, well, it works in the co-op. They've got loads of lines on the floor. I never seen the virus in the co-op.
And they've got coloured sticky tape on the floor outside Townland.
Yeah, the GP surgery has a little chain link fence to keep the virus out. I'm pretty sure this badly drawn chalk circle will keep us safe.
But what if the virus learns how to get over badly drawn lines on the floor? Chain links, fences, or perspex screens? Well then, smartass, we're all screwed, that's what.
Look, if you don't like it, go to the pub. They've got shower curtains there.
Oh, do go and have a lie down, number one. We'll carry on without you. Oh, well done, number two. Well done. She's going to be like that all evening now.
Well, I can't help it, Seven. I just can't take any of it seriously. I mean, lines on the floor, tiny little stickers, tiny fences.
May I remind you that people have become very ill from this virus. Many have not survived. This is not something to be laughed at. You are meant to be joyful, number two. Laughing at suffering is not joy. It is Schadenfreude.
Oh, yeah, you've just reminded me. I had a text from Schadenfreude. He said he couldn't come tonight. He's staying at home to watch You've Been Framed. Listen, I'm not laughing at people, number seven. That would be cruel. But I am laughing at lines on the floor, tapes off sinks in public toilets, and little perspex screens with little holes in them. As if that's going to stop anything.
And what is your answer to the virus problem then? Clever clogs.
Lighten up! Stop being so scared and paranoid. It's not good for your head, is it? Have a laugh at how ridiculous all this is. Laughter is the best medicine after all.
So what you're saying, number two, is that we should all just lighten up and laugh and be more jolly, and together we'll beat a deadly global pandemic?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm not sure how that will go down with our secret masters, number two. But, well, thank you for sharing your ancient wisdom
And just
with
who
us.
are these shady secret masters, number seven?
Ah, number three. There you are.
What I think we should be told, is it the Chinese government? Is it the people who make the perspex windows? Is it the lizards?
It is a secret never to be told.
Damn it! I knew he'd say that.
I can never reveal
Yes,
the
yes,
ident-
yes, yes, yes. Very nice. Pay attention, everyone. Time for a girl to sort this thing out. I have the solution to your virus problem.
You do?
Yes. Lock everyone up.
Everyone? Are you sure that will work? It does seem a little extreme.
Well, drastic times call for drastic measures, number seven. We can call it locking down if it makes you feel any better. If everyone is safely locked down in their houses, or preferably in special secure boxes underneath their houses, then no one can walk around spreading the virus and ta-da! It vanishes. Just commonsensical.
Commonsensical? What a load of balls.
Pay attention, everyone. Time for a girl to
Oh
sort this
no.
thing out.
There we
I have
go.
the solution to your virus
Can I
problem.
butt in for a moment,
You do?
number seven?
Yes. Lock
That's
everyone
too late.
up.
I just have. Time for a boy to sort this thing out.
It does seem a little...
Time for a boy to sort this thing out. Locking everyone up is such an over-the-top reaction. Just what I'm expect from a girl. Look, we only need to lock up the women, since they are more likely to contract the virus than us men, and therefore pose a bigger risk. Now that's commonsensical.
Could you please take this argument somewhere else?
Oh, and men are twice as likely to die from the virus as women, number four. If anyone should be locked up, it's you chauvinist.
Men produce more antibodies. Our blood is more useful than yours. Lock up the women.
Men over 6 feet tall are more likely to have extreme symptoms. Lock up the tall men.
Women are more likely to have long COVID. Lock up the women for longer.
Men are more likely to get COVID too. Lock them up and cut their feet off.
Oh,
That's
no.
what should happen,
It's
because
obvious.
Will
honestly,
you
they
two
should drag your
please
gun
pack
and
it
cut their
in,
feet
or
off.
I'll knock your heads together? Really? Are you seriously suggesting that we should lock everyone up?
Down.
Down? Are you seriously suggesting that we should lock everyone down and cut bits off them?
Just the men.
Just the women.
Silence! Our secret masters will never agree to locking people up.
Down.
Down! I meant down! Our secret masters will never agree to locking people down. Will they? I mean, will they? Even with graphs? Oh dear, this isn't going as well as I'd hoped. We need some better ideas! Who's next? Ah, number 5. I summon you and your ancient silver wisdom as our eldest magpie and the only member of the 7 orders to have successfully come back from the dead 8 times, no less.
Done.
Go, number 5.
I turn to you for help in our hour of need.
Mambo, 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 mambo.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to say something very important here. Can you hear me?
Number 5, will you please take off your mask? We can't hear a word you're saying. I said.
Yeah. Mumble.
Look, I still can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yet I understand your concerns, number 5. You are the most ancient member of the 7 orders. At 800 years old, you are the most...
Yes. Look,
But you've already died and come back 8 times. In fact, if I'm right, I think you've already, once...
What? No. Mama. Yeah. Mambo.
Is that actually possible?
What? No. Mambo. And mambo.
Oh. Should everyone wear a mask?
Yep. Everyone. Hold on. Okay.
What?
What? Can you hear this?
Oh, dear. But if everyone wears a mask at all times, well, that would make things very difficult. I mean, we'd never hear what anyone was saying for a start. The world would be...
Look, can you hear me now? It would also very, very quiet. Got that?
Right. Well,
you see that?
Thank you, number 5, for sharing your wisdom with us. And I'll be sure to tell our masters.
Excuse me, Mambo, can you? I'm a bit, oh.
Right, of course, they're over, number 2. Could you help number 5 find the toilets, please?
Yeah, come on then, Norman. I mean, number 5, this way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you.
Good. Mind your step, number 5. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, yes, thank you, number 5. I'll be sure to tell our secret masters what you said, but I probably won't be wearing a mask when I do it. Oh, dear. And on, I now summon Magpie number 6, the great Magpie of Gold. Come forth, number 6, and share with us your ancient wisdom.
Magpie brethren, I come before you today not with an answer, but with the answer. The answer to the greatest problem ever to face mankind. I have the solution which will save every man, woman and child on this planet. A solution, my friends, on which I have toiled day and night over a very, very cold cauldron. A solution, a formula, a potion to ward off the invisible enemy, to banish the evil one, and to bring back what all humankind desires in their heart, normality. My friends, I present to you Virus Begone Potion.
Wow.
That's such a
Goodness
great
me.
thing.
Rather a good name, I thought. My potion is almost 60% safe for humans, but that is such a small price to pay for their continued existence. I have patented my Virus Begone Potion, and mine is the only cauldron licensed to produce it. I alone will create vast quantities of my potion and put it into tiny little bottles, and out of the goodness of my own heart, I shall sell it to every man, woman and child on the planet who must be made to drink it at once, or the world may very well come to an end. Through my potion, millions will ingest hope into their large intestine.
Oh.
By Jove! I think he's got it. Our secret masters will be pleased with you. Just one tiny bottle of your magic potion, and poof! The virus is gone.
Just one bottle. I was thinking perhaps 2 or 3
2 or 3?
every year.
2 or 3 bottles every year?
Well, you know, just to be on the safe side.
It sounds expensive.
Oh, it will be. Don't you worry.
But it will cure the virus, won't it?
Cure it? Well, of course it won't cure it. What a bizarre idea. I won't make much gold if I go round curing illnesses, now will I? People would stop buying my magic potions if I did. Curing illness. That's a good one, number 7. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Oh, very well, number 6. It's expensive and it won't actually cure the virus, but I'll add it to my list anyway. Magpies of the Sacred, Secret and Solemn Society of the 7 Ornithic Orders. So, we were tasked with combining our ancient wisdom and finding a way to bring down the COVID-19 infection rate. The list which I shall be submitting to our secret masters, along with these graphs, which I drew myself in orange crayon, reads as follows. Number 1, we should all cry tears of despair. Number 2, we should all laugh at the futility of it all.
Yes, right. Yes.
Numbers 3 and 4, Everyone should be locked up.
Down!
Sorry, down. Lock everyone down for an unspecified time, and they should have their blood and or other body parts removed. Number 5, we should all seal our mouths with pieces of cloth.
Quite right, sir. I'm not taking this off. Mumble.
Thank you, number 5. Number 6, we should all drink an expensive magic potion 3 times a year, every year, for the rest of our lives. Oh, dear. I do hope our masters weren't expecting too much from us. I solemnly submit this list drawn from our ancient and collected wisdom with attached graphs to the 4 winds and ask for its safe passage to our secret masters. And there it goes.
And what about you, number 7? Are you going to put forward an idea?
I did mine yesterday. I sent it by E-Crow.
And what was it?
I just said close all the theatres.
Close the theatres? That's brilliant.
I know, right?
What, and that will stop the virus?
Yes, theatres are terrible places, germs, bad ideas. Shut them down, make everyone's lives lighter. That's what I say. Have you ever met an actor? I wouldn't bother if I were you. Red people, vapid, arrogant. Nothing good ever came out of the theatre. The sooner they are gone, the better. No one will miss them.
Hey!
Woo! What the effing hell do you think you're doing, you stupid, deranged effing magpies? Stop this effing meeting at once! Effing well do as I say!
Hey, who's that? And why is she swearing at us?
Yeah, hang on. We're the Sacred Order of Magpies. You can't just come in here and start shouting at us.
Yeah, you might be pretty, but that doesn't excuse you being a bully.
Our secret master, stepping out from the shadows at last. Secret master, we lay ourselves prostrate at
I am not your effing master. I am very clearly your effing mistress. And stop fawning, you morons, and do as I effing well say. Effing now. I thought you were supposed to be some ancient and effing wise order of magpies, but you're clearly not, are you? You're clearly just a bunch of effing idiots.
Have our suggestions for bringing down the infection rate displeased you, oh great and not very secret mistress? We did send some graphs too.
It's not your effing suggestions that are the problem, minion. In fact, your effing COVID rules are exactly what we've been effing looking for. Personally, I can't wait to force people to effing well abide by them. I shall threaten them with nasty and evil effing punishments if they refuse. And I just love the graphs too. Orange is my favourite colour.
Then why are you so angry with us, O great and unshadowy one?
Because, you feather-brained mollusk, you are putting yourselves and everyone else in very great effing danger. Don't you realise if there are 6 of you, you are perfectly safe. But add just 1 more and the effing virus will effing well strike. There are 7 of you in there.
The virus can count to 7?
Of course the effing virus can effing well count. Do you think we make these things up as we effing well go along? Now, F off out of there, all of you, before the Rona gets you and you turn into another effing case. For F's sake.
She's right. There are 7 of us. Oh, bugger. Meeting adjourned. Fly, magpies, fly, while you still have all of your toes.
Thank you, thank you, magpies, as you fly off, or 7 of you. That concludes our show for the evening. Don't forget the GoFundMe. That would be great if you can make some contribution. I know it's Christmas, but it's Christmas for Trip Action, and perhaps I could people to step forward and take a bow if they could unmute and come and say a few words. And working from my left, I have well, it's Varian who appeared in the last one, unannounced, but there she was. Can we hear you, Varian?
Hi, happy Christmas, everyone. Stay safe.
Good one. And the next in my panel here is Tonya James.
Oh, thanks, Varian. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you have as good a Christmas as you can. Stay safe. We hope to see you all in the new year live.
And now it's David, who's done so much to put this together.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you. Have a great Christmas. Don't forget, if you can afford to, please donate some money. Follow the link below this video. Bye. Good man. And Grace Find, who appeared right at the end there, top of the bill, as it were.
Hi.
Well, it's Varian who appeared in the last one, unannounced, but there she was. Can we hear you, Varian?
Hi.
What's happened
happy
there?
Christmas, everyone. Stay safe.
Good one. And the next in my panel here is just a moment. We've got Simon Brett now.
Oh, thanks, Varian. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you have as good a Christmas as you can. Stay safe. We hope to see you all in the new year live.
Not quite sure what we're going to do, but Simon.
David, who's done so much to put this together.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you. Have a great Christmas. Don't forget, if you can afford to, please donate some money. Follow the link below this video. Bye.
Mute if you're not speaking.
And Grace Find, who appeared right at the end there, top of the bill, as it were.
Hi.
Simon's got YouTube switched on.
Unannounced, but there she was. Can we hear you, Varian?
Oh, now we're going to a loop. Oh, what's happened here? Can anybody help me? Dig me out. Well, we've got Simon who could come in.
Simon, if you can hear us, switch YouTube off.
Hello. Happy Christmas, everyone. Have a good one as far as the restrictions allow. And look forward to a wonderful, the sunlit uplands of 2021. What? Sorry.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Yeah.
And finally, Richard, come in, please. Richard.
Hello, everybody. Thank you
much
for watching. Have a good break. Stay safe, and we hope to see you soon. Bye now.
If I've not left anybody else, I'll say good night and what larks. See you all soon. I think probably now Richard will eliminate us. Good night.